Good morning, everyone. This is Arjun Vijay from Alpha Street, and today we are speaking with Scott Montgomery, CEO of Wellteq Digital Health. The company is an OTC-listed provider of personalized well care solutions with the ticker symbol WTEQF. Scott, let's first address what the business is all about. What's the value that you offer to a corporate and B, an employee of the corporate?
Sure. Look, Wellteq is a digital health platform. We are paid for by employers, paid for by insurance companies, and paid for imminently by healthcare providers. That platform connects smartphone applications, so software, hardware, in the form of wearables, and firmware as well. We've got our own proprietary build. So our platform connects people, and our entire mission with everything that we do is to coach people towards better health habits and health outcomes.
And what's your revenue generation model like?
Very simple again. So we're mainly subscription model. So our SaaS revenue grew over 100% year on year last year to over $1 million. We're 1.5 million ARR last year, with now a Salesforce team which is 6 times what it was last calendar year. So we're putting the use of funds that was raised by Canaccord and Gravitas in our listing raise in March this year to sales and marketing primarily, which is all about revenue and geographical growth.
And Scott, you have reported over 100% SaaS growth. Can you just tell me what were the primary growth drivers during this period?
Yeah, so I think digital health is such a big bucket that it's often confused with people and companies that are health companies utilizing technology for their services. We are not that. So where we are very, very different is that we're an algorithmic coaching function. So we don't have people on phones. We don't have bricks and mortar clinics. We are a software. We're a piece of intelligence that comes through a smartphone, leveraging other data capture. So where we're able to very, very powerfully scale is that bringing on a new cohort of people, we don't need to then or recruit in a linear fashion. So our SaaS growth should and will continue at least at those rates in the years ahead.
Scott, as far as my understanding goes, all this employee wellness and digital health, all that is a highly competitive space. What's your economic moat or a competitive advantage that you want to highlight with investors?
Look, I think you're absolutely right. And it is such a competitive industry because there's such a need and because it's such a massive opportunity. And we've seen some corporate activity in this space. You know, it's recently with Teladoc and Livongo probably being the poster child of this. Mid last year, there was an acquisition by a telehealth company, enormous telehealth company in Teladoc buying a corporate wellness or a digital coaching company in Livongo for $18.5 billion. So I think the size of the prize is obviously attractive to a lot of ways, and that means that it's not a one winner take all playground. That being said, you need some USPs and you need some point of difference. So where we've grown up, if you will, being initially founded in Singapore for the Asia Pacific region, we're arguably one of the most diverse markets in the world. So one of our first points of USP is our ability to localize and personalize for different languages, different cultures, and different markets. And it's very, very different way of life in Singapore as it is to Thailand, as it is to Toronto. And so we've got to have the sophistication in our technology and our algorithms to be able to do that. So number one. Number two is that we're globally distributing. That's our focus. We're not looking at a single market. We are looking at multiple countries for anywhere in the world to provide access, we believe, to give health coaching or health expertise and health support to people for better health. And that's what our software and that's what our technology can do. So global, number two. And thirdly is that we expand the full continuum of care. So we're not just looking at the corporate wellness industry. That's where our initial revenue is. And it's stage 1 of 5 stages of growth. So that industry in 2026, as well reported, is going to be just shy of $100 billion industry. And so that's a massive part, but that's one part of what we do. So when we extend into prevention, into triage, and into virtual care and digital therapeutics, that's where we again differentiate ourselves. So scalable, totally digital, global, and the full continuum of care.
Super interesting. Another important thing that I would like to know is currently we are witnessing a lot of companies offering remote work or a hybrid work environment. Is that something that is going to impact your market?
Of course, this is a reality of today, and the old ways of, if you look at Fordism and the manufacturing line specialization of labor, that impacted the way that work was done. And then, so we go through these evolutions and revolutions in the way that we work. And so this recent period that we're seeing across this last 20 months or so is a pivotal time, that the way that we've worked for the last 3, 4, 5, 6 decades is now being questioned, and questioned by need rather than questioned by want or volition. So there is now a demonstration and a proof point that the world can work in a fashion that is not a 9 to 5 working structure, and is not a 9 to 5 in an office, excluding obviously the variations with shift patterns in different industries. But the way that work from home has impacted ability to work will stay in some way, shape, or form. There'll be different sectors with residual change that lasts far longer and far more true to today. Some will revert back, but we are creatures now that have a home life, we have a work life, we have a social life. Ever connected technology has enabled that. And so this is actually a great thing, because we can help people not only when you're in the bricks and mortar walls of your office or your manufacturing plant or your place of employment, but ubiquitously. And that's the power of technology.
On a related note, I see that the company has been signing a number of partnerships in the mental health care space. Is that going to be a major part of your business going forward?
Well, it's one of 4 major parts, absolutely. So over 3/4 of the healthcare spend is caused by 4 main behaviors that are out of balance. And so those are activity or physical, they are nutrition, and they are sleep, and they are mindset or psychological, so mental health. So we have a very deep focus into mental health for certain. We were one of the, if not the first company globally to offer wearable connected employee mental health programs in multiple countries back in 2015. So we have always had this belief that this is a part of it. You can't get out of bed in the morning and motivate yourself to eat better, be a better person socially, and to move more on a healthy exercise regime if you've got this burden and this cloud of mental weight and potentially mental illness. So it's critical for any sustainable behavior change, and that's why it's one of our 4 focuses.
Great. Just one more last question, Scott. What should investors expect from the company over the next 2 years?
A lot. I think if you look at the digital health sector, number one is that we are the future of healthcare. We've seen retail transform with companies like Amazon, companies like eBay, and the way that retail has historically been done went through a transformation by digital. We've seen the same happen with media, Facebook, Instagram, WhatsApp. The way that media is consumed and created is now different to what it was 20 years ago. The same for banking. You can look at the major sectors, and they've all gone through their digital transformation. Everyone's waiting for that homecoming for healthcare. The pandemic has really catapulted that need, because you can no longer sit in a waiting room with other sick people, or wait for your doctor to scribble on a piece of paper and then send it to somewhere else, and that inefficiency or prescription receipt, let alone medication adherence, those days are over, or becoming very, very close to over. So the sector is the next big thing, and it's that dispersion of the clinic into the world or into the home. So that's number one. 2 years is a long time in this space. You look at the sensor technology development and the hardware alone, let alone the data science capability. Moore's law will say that the capabilities will double in every 18 months. So you put those 2 together, and you've got a very exciting opportunity with the platform that we have, with a well-banked, we're a very well-capitalized company with a very skinny EV, with corporate partners that we do and corporate customers that we have. We have a lot to offer for that full continuum of care over far less than 2 years. I'd be looking months rather than years.
Great. I'll just close with that, Scott. It was such a pleasant interaction. Thank you so much for your time.
Pleasure to be here, Arjun. Thanks so much for your attention,
Thank you
everyone.
so much.